It's Mandy as well, back again from the Card Fight Vanguard deck profile. So if you guys enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget the Patreon. And let's get one started. Today, we have Great Nature, Chatnoir. Okay, a lot of you may be thinking, why is the deck called Chatnoir when, like, he's more of a support card for Isabelle, somewhat of a support card for Big Belly, but in the eyes of many people, he is not a main grade 3. Well, here's what my response to you is. You're wrong. Every card has the ability to be a main grade 3. The only requirement, quote unquote, that a main grade 3 needs to have is a Vanguard skill. If it has a Vanguard skill, then it can be classified as a main grade 3. Or it doesn't even have to have a Vanguard skill. It could just be something that your deck focuses on and you just place it on Van or Rear, because that could be a main grade 3. Point is, Chatnoir is a main grade 3, and I have built a deck around it. So to those of the people who believe Chatnoir should not be a main grade 3, click off this deck profile right now. But if you want to see the deck profile, let's go ahead and start it. First up, we have our starter in Jet Ink Fox. By the way, Isabelle's not in this deck. I just chose to run Jet Ink Fox because I think it's cute. 6k base, 10k shield, grade 0 with boost. Auto, when it's rolled upon, draw a card. Then if your opponent's Vanguard's a greater and a greater, you get a quick shield ticket. So, you know, nothing too special about it. It's just a starter with the draw and quick shield ability that you normally use for discarding, the draw that you normally top deck off of. But it's here as a starter because Chatnoir is a cat, and this is a fox, and I'm pretty sure cats and foxes are somewhat the same in terms of DNA, I guess? Can someone prove me wrong on that? I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that. But regardless, it's a cute thing, and it kind of looks like Chatnoir in my eyes, so I choose to run it because it's cute, and I would like to hold it. Next up, we have our triggers. 4 copies of Cable Sheep as our draw trigger. Continue sending them. We have up to 4 sentinels in the deck. Auto guard when plays this card a card from hand when one of your units cannot be hit till end of battle. So standard PG, nothing too special about it. We run 8 fronts in Castanet Donkey and Correction Chinchilla. No crits in this deck because while yes, Chatnoir can give +5 to 2 different units / 3 different units, or just +10 to 1 unit. It's only +10, and it's only to and that requires you to waste 2 of your 5Ks on it, to where, you know, if they pull a trigger, it kind of just gets canceled out. And if you're playing an Accel deck against a Force deck, well, especially with triggers, you kind of get fucked over by that. So you kind of need the front triggers to keep it going with big numbers. Crits, this is an Accel deck. You can rush really easily. You don't need crits. You can easily front sack them to death. You just have to stall and be smart about it, which is why this is here, because crits aren't going to do anything. Plus, you need the draws when you're constantly calling down your rear guards to make boards. Next up, we have our heal trigger in Assurance Dr. Carebat. Okay, here's why this is here. And me saying this is probably going to make it so that I never see heal for the rest of my time of playing this deck, except when I'm milling cards for the abilities that I want the normal unit effect for. But this is here over Dictionary Goat because I completely forgot Dictionary Goat existed at this time of building this. If you don't know the story behind Dictionary Goat, it is the sole reason why I built Big Belly. Because when I built Big Belly, I mean, I was going to build it anyways, but when I built it in real life, I was like, I'm going to buy it if I went with my somewhat really bad Great Nature deck, because it was meant to focus on Hamsuke, and then Hamsuke went overpriced. So basically, I used the really budget version, and it had nothing to do with milling. So when I won that game by shock and I miracle healed out of my death, I decided to buy Big Bellies, or actually, yeah, keep up my promise and buy Big Bellies, and to this day, Dictionary Goat is still in that deck. And I forgot to put it in here, which will probably mean I will never miracle heal again, especially because I just kind of talked so much shit about Carebat. He's a good grade 0 heal trigger, but Dictionary Goat, in my opinion, is better, and no heal gardens, and you know why. On to grade 1s, we run 3 copies of Clerical Kakapo, or as I like to call it, Coca-Paca-Poof, if you know where that's from, good for you. 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto Van or Rear, when placed, put the top card of your deck into drop zone and perform one of the following effects, depending on the card's type. God damn it, I just thought of a joke, and I'll say it later if I remember it. But normal unit, draw a card and discard one. Trigger unit, draw a card and put a card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So, standard ability, nothing too special about it. You get a different ability depending on what normal or trigger unit you see. So, you know, just the lottery effect. And that draw, you get a draw regardless, and then depending on where the other thing goes. In this case, you want to see a trigger just because, yeah, you're losing a trigger, but you're also sending something to bottom, so you're refilling the the mill effect / draw effect, followed by you could be sending a better trigger back. So, Clerical Kakapo, nice grade 1, 3 of. 3 of Besom Ringtail. There's another quote I want to bring up, but I don't want to. This deck just makes me think of quotes, and you might know why, depending on who you are. But, AK base, 10k shield, greater on the boost. Auto rear, when attacks are boost, counterblast 1 and put the top card of your deck into drop zone and perform one of the following effects depending on the card's type. Normal unit, draw a card. Trigger unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, murder it, and it gets +5 ton of turn. Okay. This does the same thing as Binoculous Tiger, I think that's what it's called, from all the way back at the start of V. Quite literally, this thing is the exact same skill as Binoculous, except better, because it can boost when it does it. It's the exact same cost and the exact same skill for the exact same units, but difference is it has 2k less power, 5k more shield, and can boost for the effect to go off. So, I'm not saying anything, but what I'm saying is, you know, if you had the choice between this and Tiger, I'm not so sure which one's more expensive, but if you have the choice between the two, I say go with this one, because it has far more versatility, and the only downside to it is it has 1k less. I'm just saying. Just saying, but 3 copies because it's a nice grade 1. Because it can kill rear guards, get +5, or you could just draw a card. Well, actually, no. It's also different from Tiger, because Tiger also gives you 3 units +5 instead, but still, my point stands. Next up, we have 3 copies of Diligent Assistant Minibelly. AK base, 10k shield, greater on the boost. He is here because I could find no one else. That is, well, that's partially true, and it's partially not true, depending on how you look at it. But it was a choice between this and I think the thing where if you have 25 cards in drop, your opponent can't call certain grades or sentinels. I forgot what I was going to put him in with, but I decided against it because I thought the grade 3 searcher was more necessary. When I remember it, I'll say it, but until then, it's just going to be this boy. Continuous rear guard during your turn. If something's on an additional rear guard circle, it gets +5, so it can also be itself. So that's a 13k base, really nice. And then auto Vanna rear. When placed from hand, look at top 5, reveal to 1 grade 3 from among them, put it to hand, shuffle your deck. If you put a card, you gotta discard 1. Nothing too special about it, but he's a grade 3 searcher, and he's nice to have, so 3 copies. 4 copies of our last grade 1, and the grade 1 who I think belongs in like all of the decks, because yeah, Chatnoir is an okay thing, but it costs a counterblast, and both decks are somewhat counterblast heavy depending on how aggressive you are with it and depending on your luck skills. But Encompass Line is meant for neither. I mean, well, Compass Line can go in Big Belly, but is not going into Isabel. This thing can go in both. And that's the funny part. Like, Chatnoir feels like it's more of an Isabel card. Compass Line feels like it's more of a Big Belly card. And this one actually fits in both. I don't know why they said Chatnoir is a good support card for both of them, when in reality, this is the good support card for both of them. AK base, 10k shield, greater on the boost. Auto, when it's retired from rear, discard it from the deck, soul blast 1, and perform one of the following. Draw a card, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets +5. So, you either draw a card when it murders, or when it gets murdered, or sent to draw from deck, or something gets +5. And that's not once per turn. So if you kill it multiple times or you mill it multiple times, you can stack that. I'm going to say this. If this was in Grand Blue, I would be a lot more scared of Grand Blue than I currently am. That's all I'm going to say. 4 copies of this amazing grade 1. On to our grade 2s. 3 copies of Lovey-dovey Dotter. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto Vanna rear. When placed, counterblast 1, mill the top card, and perform one of the following depending on what type it is. Call that card to rear, or trigger unit, it gets +15. So either you mill a normal unit and you get to call it, and if it also has a lottery skill, like it could be another copy of this thing because it doesn't have to be placed from hand, you could use its effect over and over again and kind of trigger it, or it just gets +15, which is still a good thing. Like, you know, it's a 24k swing. Guaranteedly, if they see a trigger, if it's only one trigger, it can still hit, regardless of what deck they're playing, unless their base Vanguard power is 15 for some fucking reason. But if it's not, then, you know, this can still hit. If it's MLB, that's a different story, but we'll get to that story another day. 3 copies of Lovey-dovey Dotter because, A, he's good, he can get units, or if you're my friend who has never put that ability off, you'll just get the +15, which is still a nice buff. Next up, we have 3 copies of Observation Scribe Snaquill. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear once per turn when your Vanguard attacks. If a card was put from your deck to drop zone this turn, counterblast 1, stand it. Okay, this is both useful and not useful depending on what occurs. Like, if your opponent damage starves you, This thing is the most useless waste of space out there, because this is for the sole purpose of multi-attacking, but you do not use this unless you can afford to. Chatnoir costs a counterblast. This costs a counterblast, which is objectively better. This costs a counterblast, which is objectively better. If you have spare, and I'm pretty sure the next card costs counterblast too. If you have the if you have the space to pay one counterblast, use it. If you don't, use this as discard fodder. That's what this is for. It's either discard fodder or you use it for multi-attack if you can pay for it. If they're damage starving you, keep this as discard fodder. You may be wondering why this is here then. Well, because, you know, it still has a purpose in being discard fodder, because I'm willing to bet half the time all of you have been in G-assist fodder moments or / discard fodder moments, and you're like, my hand is perfect and I don't want to get rid of anything, but I kind of have to do it so I can live or ride. So here's what this is for. You just pay this with the cost, because it's both the most useful thing and the most useless thing in this deck. Take that as you will, but in my personal opinion, it works. You'll see why if you have to G-assist with it. 3 copies. 3 copies of Geograph Giant. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. This motherfucker has saved me on so many occasions, and I will never not run him, or at least consider it. Continuous rear, if it's on additional rear guard circle, gets +8. That's during both players' turns. Guaranteedly, no matter what gift it's on, it's a 17k base during both players' turns. If you're on Accel 2, 22k base during your turn, and Accel 1, 27k base during your turn. Either way, nice grade 2 to have, 3 copies. 4 copies of our last grade 2 Compass Line. 13k base, grade 2, intercept, 5k shield. This fucker, I have fond memories of him in the PBD game. I mean, not PBD game, the Raging Form Dragon game, because I forgot he was a 13k base. And, well, yes, it didn't really matter in the end, because I just guarded the rear guard, even though I pretended to take the rear guard and then just guard the vanguard. It's fine. Anyways, auto van rear at the end of the turn, choose one of your rear guards and retire it. It is a mandatory effect. So, you know, you lose a rear guard, but, like, if you're with Big Belly, this is actually a benefit of some case. So, I'd say it's a nice grade 2 to run, 4 of. Next up, we have grade 3s. 3 copies of Armed Instructor Bison. 12k base, grade 3 Twin Drive Accel gift. Auto van rear. When attacks, counterblast 1, choose one of your units of other rear guards, and it gets +5 for the turn. If it's on van, you stand that rear guard as well. So, that's always like a good ability, because it's a way to give you power. And not to mention that, you know, it's a way to stand a rear guard if you have to ride it. But even if you don't, it's a way to give power to a rear guard. I still don't suggest using this on rear, because, like, you have many ways to get power. In fact, Chatnoir spreads more than this guy. But, like, if you need that extra 5k and you can do it, kind of like with this guy over here, do it. But otherwise, I just say go for it. Ride it as van if you have to, and it's a way to get a stand out of it. Either way is a nice grade 3 to have, and he was my main for Great Nature for the longest time, because fucking Hamsuka had to go up in price by $1 and beat my entire budgeting. Fuck you. Well, it wasn't $1. No, Hamsuka himself went up in $1, but because I had 4 copies of it, that overall increased the price ever so slightly more, which fucked over my budget. Thanks a lot, Hamsukes. And this was long before the V collection set showed Hamsuke, by the way. Like, this was all the way back where Great Nature had just gotten Isabel Isabel revealed. That's when I wanted Hamsukes. And fuck you for going $1 more in copies. Whoever did that, go to hell. I'm sorry, that's just my personal opinion on it. But 3 copies, because this man has saved my life so many times, and I've been with him the whole time of Great Nature. And we have our last normal unit, or our last unit in general, followed by our main grade 3, Honorary Professor Chatnoir. 12k base, grade 3 Twin Drive Accel gift, auto van rear once per turn. When it attacks, counterblast 1, draw a card, discard the top card of your deck, and perform one of the following effects depending on the type of card. If it's a van, perform both effects regardless of type. So basically an Isabel effect. Normal unit, choose 2 of your rear guards and they get +5 for the turn. At the end of the turn, retire those units. Trigger unit, choose one of your rear guards and it can attack from back row, gets +5 and retire that unit. Okay, it still works with Big Belly in the sense that, hey, you're killing rear guards. Big Belly gets you draw, and you can pick anything. So if it's on rear as well, it gets +5. Here's my problem with this. It's lackluster, and now don't get me wrong, it's good. But this is the sole reason why a lot of people think that it's not meant to be a main grade 3, because it has such a lackluster ability, and it literally, Busher Road said it themselves. It is a support card for Big Belly and Isabel. Like, when you say that before the card's even revealed to have a skill, before the card skill is even revealed, it kind of gives you like a low standard of what it's supposed to do. And That's why a lot of people think it's like nothing flashy. Now here's the thing. If it was an increased power of 10k instead of 5k, one, that'd be a lot fucking better. But two, people would start thinking it's an actual main grade 3 because 5k plus to a rear guard, unless it's a continuous ability, isn't really that good. Like, yeah, I can do it on rear, but it's not that good. Now, if it was plus 10 on the other hand, yeah, people would think like, oh my god, that's such an amazing grade 3. Not to mention, it's still support for Big Belly Nissa though, but because it gives plus 10k, that's something that would actually be useful for as an own deck. I'm willing to bet right now, if it was plus 10k, everyone who said it wasn't a main grade 3 would immediately say, oh yeah, this thing's amazing as a main grade 3. Like, it's kind of like Dantarian, where a lot of people don't consider it one, and a lot of people forgot about it. I mean, even I didn't even know Dantarian was a fucking VR until I literally looked at the card, because where I bought it from also said it was a triple rare, so I just assumed it was a triple rare. But yeah, all around Chatnoir, like, a lot of people sleep on him, but the man is good. Like, yeah, my deck kind of lost to Revenger, but that's because I was doing what I was doing. But yeah, Chatnoir's a nice grade 3, and I suggest everyone give him a chance because he's really fun playing with. 4 of. Get-wise, we want 5 Accel 1, 5 Accel 2. Accel 1 and 2 are similar. They put a new unit, they make a new rearguard circle to the front row. Accel 1 gives that unit plus 10 during your turn. Accel 2 gives you a draw and plus 5 during your turn. And they both go top left and top right, and then you keep alternating, which is a ruling, by the way. So if you want more draws, which I suggest is debatable, I say Accel 2. If you want Accel 1 because more power, I say go for it. Here's the thing. It really just does depend on your luck. For me, because ever since I've started playing Chatnoir, I've drawn all my triggers really early by just drawing, like not even milling, just drawing. I've just instinctively picked Accel 1 now because if I'm going to draw my triggers, I might as well just get power out of it and say fuck it. So Accel 1 I'm going with, but if you want to go for Accel 2 for strategy, I say go for it. Quick shield when one of your attacks is plus 5k for the battle. Nothing too special about it. It's mainly discard fodder for this boy all the way back here, but otherwise, it's just a 5k shield that you can use, and it is helpful at times. And that was the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I know Chatnoir doesn't seem like a main grade 3, but I swear to you, he really does do work when you need him to. Don't sleep on him. He can become a very dangerous son of a bitch, especially because of that supporting role that he can play in both decks. The more support they get, the more quote-unquote support he gets. So, you know, if for some reason they ever make a card that says when it's killed, similar to Tapping Cat, you get another draw like a pseudo Big Belly or something like that, then oh yes, he'd be so much better. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you all next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.